Have you ever seen how Taehyung couldn't leave Jungkook's side even when he was injured? That real and powerful connection was evident every second, making it clear that what they feel goes beyond any boundaries that try to separate them. When Jungkook was injured, Taehyung's concern was so evident that there was no way to ignore it. During that special concert, Jungkook, even with his injured foot, decided to give his all for his fans, even if it meant sitting down to sing. However, what was most striking wasn't just his courage, but how Taehyung, despite all the movement on stage, always found his way back to him. Taehyung didn't need to say big words or make exaggerated gestures. The way he leaned toward Jungkook, observed him, touched his shoulder to check on him, spoke volumes. It was a silent protection, a kind of love that doesn't need to be announced to be understood. Ever since Taehyung and Jungkook joined BTS, the connection between them has been undeniable. Not just at concerts, but at all times. They don't function as two separate people, they are one unit. When one suffers, the other feels it. When one smiles, the other shines. Jungkook's injury didn't change Taehyung's behavior, it didn't alienate him for a second. On the contrary, it reinforced the bond they've demonstrated 1,000 times over. Taehyung wasn't there just out of duty or ordinary concern. He was there because he loves Jungkook, because his well-being is an essential part of his own happiness. Taehyung didn't need to say anything to show Jungkook how much he cares. With a simple touch, he transformed a moment of rest into a show of love that made it clear how important he is to him. In everyday life, it's often the small gestures that matter the most, and what Taehyung did with Jungkook while they were resting was no exception. The way he decided to wake him up was a clear reflection of the deep love they feel for each other. Instead of simply calling him or yelling his name, Taehyung opted for something much closer, much more personal. He placed his hand on Jungkook's back, touching him gently, as if he wanted to ensure he woke up in a calm and loving way. That touch wasn't just a means to wake him up. It was a caress, a gesture that showed how much Taehyung enjoys Jungkook's closeness. A gentle touch, a light pressure on his back, a light massage. It wasn't just a wake up, it's time, but a I'm here with you, and I want you to wake up peacefully. The most impressive thing about this gesture is that it wasn't planned. Taehyung acted naturally, as if waking Jungkook up in his everyday life. He didn't need words or a grand display, because with that simple touch, he showed everything he feels for him. The affection, trust, and intimacy they share were reflected in such a simple yet meaningful act. For Taehyung, touching Jungkook was more than just physical contact. It was a way of showing him, without saying anything, in such an intimate way, that he was there for him. When he touched him, he did it with all the love in the world, unhurriedly, enjoying the moment. And when Jungkook woke up, he needed nothing more than that feeling of security, of knowing he was being cared for by someone who truly loved him. The Hyundai commercial wasn't just a work project, it was a manifestation of the unique chemistry between Taehyung and Jungkook. In that moment, the two showed the world that their bond is so genuine that not only us, but even major brands, recognize it. What makes the relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook so special is the way they flirt with each other, a flirtation that transcends the physical and goes much further. This type of interaction isn't something commonly seen in everyday relationships. Taehyung and Jungkook have such a natural and playful way of flirting, it seems they can't be without each other, always looking for ways to connect further, to make each other smile. And the most impressive thing about all this is that, despite being so obvious and frequent, their connection never changes. Remember that Hyundai commercial they both participated in? It was a clear example of how their bond is shown so genuinely, that even an international brand took notice. What more evidence do we need to know their connection is real? In that moment, we weren't just watching a commercial, we were witnessing a very special moment between them. The way Taehyung looks at Jungkook and how he returns that loving gaze is so pure it's hard to describe in words. It's more than just a job, it's a clear expression of what they share. This flirtation is so natural that even brands notice it. Hyundai, for example, cast Taehyung and Jungkook in a commercial, knowing their connection was something not only fans would notice, but also those who worked at the brand. It wasn't just another commercial, it was a moment that reflected their special bond. They both accepted the project without hesitation, enjoyed every minute, and, in the end, left us all smiling at how they interacted with each other with such ease and love. From the moment Taehyung and Jungkook met as part of BTS, something unique began to grow between them. It wasn't just a common friendship, nor a simple closeness between bandmates. It was an immediate connection, as if two pieces of the same heart had finally found each other. Since then, their bond has only grown, strengthening on every stage, in every project, in every silent glance they share when they think no one is watching. During that concert where Jungkook was injured, the connection that has always existed between them was evident in all its manifestations. It didn't matter how many fans were there, or how many cameras were filming them. For Taehyung and Jungkook, all that existed was each other. Jungkook could trust that despite the pain of his injury, Taehyung would be by his side without needing to ask. And Taehyung, for his part, demonstrated with every gesture that Jungkook is his priority, that nothing in the world is more important than his well-being. They didn't build their bond on easy situations. They didn't bond just in moments of laughter or success. Taehyung and Jungkook chose each other again and again, even when things got tough, even when one of them was suffering. That's what makes what they have so authentic. A real relationship isn't measured in pretty words, but in sincere actions, and they've been showing that for years. Taehyung didn't walk away when Jungkook was vulnerable. There was no distance, no awkwardness. On the contrary, there was a stronger connection, a desire to care, to protect. The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook is more than what we see on stage or in big public moments. It's those small gestures, the ones that seem almost imperceptible, that truly show how they feel about each other. In their case, the way they care for each other, the way they share laughter and quiet moments, is a clear reflection of the depth of their relationship. When Jungkook was resting and Taehyung decided to wake him up with that gentle touch, he wasn't just doing a favor or trying to get his partner to get up. He was showing that, in their relationship, the simplest things are what count. That way of waking up, so different from what anyone else might expect, speaks volumes about the connection between them. Taehyung didn't try to make a big show, he didn't try to impress anyone. Every little gesture counts when it comes to true love. The gentle touch on Jungkook's back was just one of many examples we can see over time. They don't need to constantly demonstrate what they feel with grand words or excessive actions. Every time they look at each other, every time they get close, everything between them is clearly communicated. It's not just a specific moment, but a constant in their lives. The most beautiful thing about Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship is that they don't limit their love to special occasions. They don't need to be the center of attention to express what they feel. It's the small details, the everyday gestures like this, that let us see how strong their bond is. What they teach us with these moments is that true love doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require words, it doesn't require proof. It just needs to be sincere. And when you see Taehyung and Jungkook in moments like this, you understand that what they have is real, pure, and, above all, profound. Every small gesture between them is an expression of what love truly means, and that's what makes their relationship so special for Taehyung and Jungkook fans. It's interesting how brands like Hyundai can see what many of us have noticed from the beginning, the unique chemistry between Taehyung and Jungkook. When they cast them in that commercial, it wasn't just about two K-pop icons working together. It was a statement that the world, not just the fans, recognizes the genuine love between them. Why those two? Why not another BTS member? The answer is clear. Taehyung and Jungkook aren't just bandmates, they're two people who have cultivated a connection so real and so visible that it doesn't go unnoticed. Brands around the world, like Hyundai, don't just look at the talent of artists, but also at how they can connect with the audience, how they can convey something beyond what's in the script or the book. Watching them in that commercial was like seeing a piece of their everyday lives. It wasn't an act, it was an extension of how they treat each other. The way Jungkook reacted when Taehyung lowered the moon for him was a moment that, though brief, meant so much. It wasn't just a look, it was a reflection of their relationship. And that look, that interaction, is what made the commercial so special. It wasn't just advertising, it was a small window into their world. They both agreed to participate because they knew it would be something genuine. They didn't do it for money or fame, but because these types of projects reflected who they were. It's a clear message that true love doesn't need to be hidden or reserved only for private moments. Taehyung and Jungkook, without thinking, decided to share a piece of their love with the world, and the response was immediate. We all realized how real what they feel is, and brands, as well as fans, couldn't help but witness it. And that, for Taehyung fans, only reaffirms what we've known for a long time: Taehyung and Jungkook are destined to be together, not only on stage, but also in life.